G'day folks, Scott here. Welcome to another video, and welcome to my first video where I'm going to review a TV show. I didn't particularly want to do TV shows at first. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to have to do them on an episode by episode, week by week basis, and that just seemed like too much to do. So I've decided to give it a crack because really TV is a huge part of popular culture now. And some TV shows, well, quite frankly, a lot of TV shows are exceeding what movies are achieving out of the Hollywood system right now for the quality of their storytelling, the quality of their acting, sometimes even the production value. So I really think TV is a relevant thing, and there's a lot of good shows out there. So, it's reasonable that I'll talk about them. So what I'm going to be doing is waiting till the end of a season is finished, and I'll review my opinion of the entire season. Obviously, if like me you watch these shows week to week, that might not be overly relevant to you, but if you usually wait to see when something's finished, especially Netflix where they put up the entire show all at once, then maybe this could help you out. So the first show I'm going to review today is the new Netflix show from Marvel, which is Iron Fist. Now, Netflix started doing Marvel shows, a little while ago. They started with Daredevil, which sent a really huge benchmark. That show really surprised me. I had only been exposed to Daredevil as a character in the Ben Affleck movie that came out years and years ago, which was really fucking bad. Like, he was awful in that. It was really poorly made. The fight scenes were terrible. Elektra sucked. Colin Farrell was bad as a bad guy. Like, I really didn't dig it at all. So that left a pretty sour taste in my mouth when it came to the character of Daredevil. Now, I see this Netflix show and I'm really blown away. Like, the cast were great. It was really well done. It was super dark, really violent, had movie quality fight scenes, like really fast, very well choreographed, really well shot. And I was really impressed. I found maybe the story dragged out a little bit, but it was great. I don't want to say too much about it if you've never seen it, but it was a brilliant show. That was followed up with Jessica Jones. Again, I had no exposure to her as a character, so I didn't know what to expect from it. The show was okay, but it really picked up. Like, I was a little bored, to be honest. Like, I wasn't digging it for the first half. Persevered, and then when the bad guy, who I believe was called Kilgrave, came into the show, he was brilliant, and he made the show. He carried the rest of the season. I really enjoyed it and was glad that I stuck with it. That was a really solid show. After that came Daredevil Season 2, which was as good, if not better, than the first season. I would say better than because of the performance of the guy who played the Punisher. He was incredible in it. I liked him a lot in Walking Dead as well. Punisher was just great. They didn't overuse the character in that show, but when he was in it, I thought he was fantastic. My only exposure to the Punisher was basically from movies, which was the old Dolph Lundgren movie, and then the one that Thomas Jane did, and then there was that Punisher Warzone. I can't remember the name of the actor who played him in that, but this guy just nailed it. I found, again, maybe the season felt a little too long, and some of the storyline with the Elektra stuff was, and the Foot, I believe they were called, the Ninja Clan, that was all dragged out a little bit, but overall I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really well done. They kept up the intensity with the fights and the violence, and it was really cool. And then came Luke Cage. Now, I'd been subjected to the Luke Cage character for a little bit in Jessica Jones, and I was interested to see what they could do with the show with him as the primary character, but to be honest, he bored me. I didn't connect with him. I didn't particularly like him. I didn't identify with what he was about. Worse off was that show didn't have interesting bad guys. It had one bad guy that kind of transitioned into another bad guy. Neither of them were particularly menacing or that interesting, and I kind of just struggled my way through it for the sake of watching it, but I didn't really enjoy it and wouldn't strongly recommend it. Now, this brings us to Iron Fist that just came out. Again, knew nothing about Iron Fist, knew it was a martial arts show and he was a martial artist, so I had really high expectations for the martial arts in this, given the fact that the martial arts in Daredevil was so great. So I guess the bad news first is that the martial arts did not live up at all. It was slow, it seemed poorly choreographed, it didn't flow that well. I was really surprised, and I was surprised by the fact that the main actor who they got to play Iron Fist, he was in Game of Thrones. You'd know him as Marjorie's brother, who was Renly Baratheon's lover. This guy was like a knight, and he did sword fighting and stuff. He clearly has some combat training on Game of Thrones, but that just didn't transit well into this show. He didn't come off as a competent, quick martial artist. He's very slow. Like, I was really surprised. I mean, to the point where his sidekick in the show, which is kind of his girlfriend, a girl named Colleen, who was another martial artist in the show, she was a way better martial artist than he was. So that was a little surprising, a little disappointing. The good news is, for me at least, I found the story way more engaging. The characters heaps more interesting. The sort of protagonist family in there, which is the Meacham family with a dad, father, and daughter. They were great and were my favourite part of the show. Madame Gao, who was the leader of the sort of bad guy martial artist in it, who ties back to Daredevil, she was fantastic. There was one particular episode where Iron Fist had to make his way through a series of challenges set by her. And it reminded me kind of like the old Bruce Lee movie, Game of Death, where he had to fight different people going up through this building. This was only 3 challenges, but they were pretty cool, and it was a very good idea. But again, just let down by the sort of low-quality fight scenes. Didn't really like him at all, but everyone else in the show was great. Rosario Dawson, I should mention, was also in this, and she's been a consistent character throughout all of those Netflix shows. She was fine. But really, this show was held up for me by the supporting cast because they were great. They were interesting characters. I really was quite happy to watch it through. I just expect more from fight scenes, especially in a post-Raid world. You know, if you want to talk about fight scenes and you've never seen 2 Indonesian martial arts movies called The Raid and The Raid 2, those things are next level as far as quality of martial arts in film goes. Now, you know, for me to enjoy the fights in Daredevil, post-Raid shows how well the fights were done in Daredevil. But again, you know, if you're looking for something to watch, so we're not talking TV here, but those 2 movies, Raid and Raid 2, get on that shit. They are great. But with the Marvel shows, if you've already watched all the ones I've spoken about previously, they're great. You may as well keep going. Later this year, they've got the standalone Punisher show coming, which it should be amazing. And I'm not sure if it's this year or next year, but they've also got the Defenders, which is kind of this universe's version of the Avengers. I believe they coexist, but this is like a darker Avengers, and that features Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist all working together. Could be good, could be shit, who knows. I like at least 2 of those characters. So that's all I've got to say about the show. So like I said, I enjoyed it more than Luke Cage, but that's not saying heaps. But, you know, I'd still recommend it. It was pretty good. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the show. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so, and I'll be back for more reviews soon. Thank you.